Hello everyone, it's Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football during Youth Euro 2024. A preview for the Netherlands' game against Austria to finish off Group D as we start to route our passage to the final. I'm Michael Statham, joined by Abdul, to talk about the game and some more reflections as well on the France game. We did our live stream after the game, but now we've had some calm time in between where we can fully digest things. Talk about the lineup for the game, our thoughts and feelings again about Austria. We heard from Anna, our expert in the Group D preview, Abdul, didn't we? And she said that they were going to be quite a dangerous side, building up expectation on them. They've been okay so far. They've impressed against Poland, but weren't able to score a goal past France. So how are you feeling about this one?
Well, we've seen 2 matches now for Austria. We can say that it's a very well-organized team. France beat them in a very difficult way with an own goal. They played an amazing football match against Poland. They had a comfortable win, I would say 3-1. Now they have a chance to qualify, and I think we will. Well, I hope we won't, but I think we will struggle against them. They don't really have superstars or world-class players, but they just play good as one team, as an organized team. And you might find some difficulties of playing teams like this, actually.
And in my opinion, the setup of the group now, the table as it is now, it creates almost a mental difficulties, in my opinion, for Netherlands players. But Austria kind of have nothing to lose. They want to get at least a point out of this to qualify. 3 points might still be enough for them, though, as one of the best third-place teams. We expect that Austria go through no matter what, really. However, I'm wondering for this, if this were a knockout game, let's say Netherlands played Austria in the quarterfinal, I would be confident of the Netherlands getting through, but I'm knowing it would be a very difficult game and it could take extra time maybe to even get past them. I think this is a difficult group game, but Ronald Koeman, I'm sure would be saying something along the lines of this to his players. Don't lose. We know that we can finish at least second place with a draw. 5 points is plenty for this group. It's not a knockout game. We don't have to win this. Equally, we all know, and people listening to this thinking, gosh, what is this negativity? We think Austria are good. We think the Netherlands won't win. And no. I think the Netherlands, my prediction in a minute might be slightly on the negative side, but that's more because we don't have to win here. We know that we would like to win, finish top of the group. It might even make an easier passage for us through to the final. But I've just got this feeling that could play a role in this game, the dynamics of it with what the result is needed. And because of that, I think it'd be an interesting play out of the game. But I would like to see a few changes. And I think with those changes and a positive outlook, a more attacking game could make this in more Netherlands' favour. Austria know we have threats as well, and that will pin them back a little. So that's just how I'm feeling going into it.
Yeah, well, I know we will qualify either way,
4 points is enough, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, who do you want to face and who do you want to avoid in the knockout stages? Winning the group makes us have the easiest route, actually, the easiest path we can have if we win the group. So it's better to win. Being second might make us face Belgium, actually. And I think even a tougher opponent in the quarterfinal if we beat Belgium. Third place, of course, you will face a group winner. I don't know what team will be, but it will be a group winner, and that will be very tough as well.
Could be England.
Okay, that's one thing. It could be England, or it could be another team that wins the group. So it's a very tough path unless you win the group, and it's not really impossible since you already lead the group now by 1 goal. So maybe if we play for winning, Koeman played 4-3-3 in all matches, so I don't think he will go and play 5-3-2 in this match, for example. I think he will start 4-3-3 attackingly, and I think he will aim for a win. I'm sure he knows what he is up against if he lose the match.
It would be great for us to start off in an attacking fashion, going into half time in the lead, and then say with 20 minutes to go a bit more defensive, maybe play the 5 at the back, because we can do it. We can keep teams out. I think people were critical in our comments about that, though, like not of us, but of the Netherlands, saying when we switched to a 5, we were still conceding chances. against France, and it didn't work. But in my opinion, it was tighter. And the only problem I had then was we were playing on the counter attack with 5 at the back, but we took our fast players off the pitch. So I think
Yes.
that's where the problem was. It wasn't the 5 at the back. We were inviting pressure, but we know when we have pressure, we can see a lot of chances out. But it's now up to Koeman to make some better choices in that part of the pitch and that phase of the game, because he has, on the whole, would you agree, Abdul, been making a lot of good choices so far in this tournament?
Yes, and no. For the choices he made,
Not perfect, that's for sure. I don't think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, okay, but he did make good choices. I mean, he decided after like 75 minutes that it would be a good idea to tie with France since we're not really scoring. So what he did was actually good. I'm against the people who said that we conceded many chances. We did not really. After he switched to 5-4-1 or 5-3-2, France barely had any chances against us. I think we closed the gaps in the back and we played very well after that to keep the match at 0-0. And by the way, Koeman did that in the qualifier as well against Greece. He tried to attack, it did not work in the away match. And then he just decided to play for a draw. But luckily, we got a penalty in that match. But, he does that now and then when he sees there's no way to score. I think this is very realistic football that he's playing, something we've been missing with Oranje for a long time, really.
And then Van Gaal tried to do that, of course, at the World Cup, and it nearly had some brilliant results in that we could have got past Argentina, getting to a semi-finals, and who knows. That's what we have to play. We can't expect to sweep teams off apart, because it's not happening with any team really at this competition. Yes, Germany have been good so far, but let's see what happens when they come up against a really good side. Can they still do that? We're going to see a lot of games going to extra time, being 1-1-0. We're seeing it already. There are a lot of close games. We've got teams like the Czech Republic running Portugal really close. England have been struggling. It is not an easy tournament, and it could be because players are fatigued after long club campaigns. But for me, you're right in that we have to play this kind of tournament football. And we talked about it being a little cliche in the live stream after the France game, but it is. You have to take opportunities like against France to go, right, let's see out the draw. The draw is a really good result here in the big picture of the group. We're stopping France from potentially topping the group. The Netherlands could now do that instead if they can win this one. But equally, a draw is not bad either. I think it's just kind of get some feelings off our chest about tournament football and knowing that this is the way it is going to be. We have to show the Netherlands can be great competitors when it comes to these tight games in the knockout rounds, because we're not going to beat them comfortably.
Some people are blaming Koeman for defending in the match against France, which he only did that in the last 15 minutes, actually. But again, playing defensively is something realistic, something you have to do now and then. We would blame him too if he played for 90 minutes like this, but he did not. He was trying to attack. We did have some chances in the first half and a disallowed goal in the second half. So it was only the last 15 minutes. We played attacking football against Poland, and I think we did okay in that match. Although Poland lost both matches, but they were kind of a difficult team to beat, So I think, I'm happy with the way he handled the two matches. I might not be happy with some selections of the players, actually, which I think we will talk about that as well.
Let's get on to team selection, Abdul. You want to talk about it? I do too. Where do we go next? Because we can't start with the 5. We know we're going to go for the 4-3-3 again. Do we play Dumfries and Frimpong again? I don't think there is the need to. There was against France. We said before that they kind of like to occupy the same spaces, and that was sort of the case. We had to play Frimpong more for last shoulder of a defender, which worked occasionally with his pace, but he wasn't having his normal effect. He wasn't as impressive as we know he can be. So what do we do? Do we stick with Simons in the 10 position? He could have scored the winner against France, but it was chalked off. So I think that has to stay. Does Memphis get another chance? We think that he will. Whether we personally would give him the start against Austria, I think is a different matter. What are your ideas?
Well, I read in the news that Koeman talked to Memphis aside and
Mhm.
privately for 15 minutes. Nobody knows what he said to him. But I really think he should give a chance to another attacker. I think Marlon is much more effective than Memphis. Maybe he will
As a
not
number
change.
9 or on the wing?
Yeah, yeah. No, as a start, as I mean, as a striker, actually, number
Right.
nine. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking about the wing, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Koeman is going to start Frimpong and Dumfries. He might find something else. To be honest, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best formation that Koeman come up with, but at least we know that Simmons fits as number 10. He plays much better there, and he was kind of visible, comparing him to the matches before that. So at least we know how the midfield is going to be. We know how the defense is going to be. Most likely Van Dijk and De Vrij. Although I still prefer seeing De Ligt, but De Vrij was doing all right. It all depends on the front line now. If it's going to be Gakpo on the left, I think we all agree on that. Then who's going to be the striker and who's going to be the right wing?
Mm.
I don't know, to be honest. If it was for me, I will play with Marling, and don't laugh if I tell you the only player that come to mind is actually Bergwijn, but I don't think he's going to do that.
I thought you were going to say Weghorst, but Bergwijn is very unexpected. For me, I
Yes.
think it's got to go with a Xerxes or Brobby up top, but I just think it's so unlikely to happen that it's not even worth really entertaining. But I would like to see Brobby start as a number 9 and Marlon on the right, Gakpo on the left, Simmons as a number 10. I would also like to see Gravenberch in midfield, but I think it's actually more important that we keep the consistency of Reinders and Schouten as we go later into the tournament. So whilst it may be tiring for those two, at least they can get subbed. I think this is a perfect game for it. They can be taken off after an hour or 70 minutes. So they're ready for the round of 16. And just build that cohesion and that consistency together. The back four should be staying the same. Dumfries should be starting for me. I don't see any much debate over that. I don't think Frimpong should start over him. I'm glad that we
No.
agree on that one.
Yeah.
And then in the centre defence, it's got to be Van Dijk and De Vrij again, hasn't it? For consistency, simply because of that. A left back Ake. But Van de Ven would be welcome to come into the team.
Oh,
Might even be
yes.
quite nice to see him at left back, for example. What we don't want
Yes.
to do is start changing too many players. Even changing 3 is a lot. You want to try and build a team ready for the late stage of the tournament. That can take
Yes.
1 or 2 changes and not be diluted so much, and not have that sharpness, which this team are starting to get.
Yeah, but changing a player or two in the front line will not
Yeah,
really hurt the team. Yeah,
no.
it's always in the back when you make changes. You're afraid that you might concede goals, but in the front line, you have to give some players a chance. Really, I would love to see Broby starting and Malin on the right, as you mentioned, and I think they will be serious threat after we saw Memphis playing. But unfortunately, I think he will start with Memphis. He will start with Gakpo, but the right wing. Maybe he will put Malin. We will see. And he will see how Memphis will perform in the first half. If he's as bad as he was in the match
Yeah.
against France, he will substitute him in the 60th minute, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think he might be subbed anyway, just to save the round of 60, even if he does play well. But I can see that chat with Koeman and Memphis. Koeman is also a man manager, and players actually quite like that side of him. Wayne Rooney recently spoke about him when he was at Everton, being actually quite a good man manager, as well as having close eyes detail with tactics. So it's reassuring to hear ex-players, talk about Koeman in a positive light, and not have like these criticisms that you might have had of someone like Frank de Boer, for example. When Jasper Cillessen comes out and slates him. But anyway, back onto the game against Austria. I can see it going quite tight again, a bit like the Poland game. If they take an early lead, we should be able to fight our way back into it. We do have players that can come off the bench and perform. I think Memphis either starts the game or comes off the bench after an hour. Either way, I expect them to play better in this game. And I hope people watching or listening agree with that. But do let us know in the comments what you're thinking about the starting 11, who you would start if it were up to you. But I think we also have to be realistic. Koeman is not going to change lots of things. There are reasons for that. And looking forward to a win. And we've got my fingers crossed for that. When Anna was on our preview podcast, she built up Austria. And I can see the dangers of the side. But it's nothing the Netherlands can't handle on a good day. I think we have got the ability here to do that. Of course, if we don't perform very well, we know Austria will take advantage.
Yeah, I think that speaking in a realistic way, I think the only one that will be substituted, or I mean changed, is probably Frimpong. He will bring somebody else, but the rest of the team, I think it will remain the same. Um, uh, so I think it's going to be 4-3-3, exactly the same 10 players that play, except for Frimpong, as we mentioned, and it could be Malin. And by the way, about Memphis, I think he will play better this match because he saw the criticism everywhere, not only from Koeman, which I'm sure Koeman talked to him about it, but the social media was kind of burning, because of Memphis's performance against France. He could cost us at least 2 goals when he just gave the ball back to French attackers. So I hope he will learn from this. He's 30 years old. He should be much more, I don't want to say mature, but much more responsible than this, really.
That's Memphis Depay, though, isn't it? And I fully expect that if he does score, he'll have his fingers in his ears again. So
would love to see him doing that again, man.
we would.
Yeah.
It's going to get the best out of him again. So then that's great.
Yeah.
I would like to see some players come on later in the game. The likes of Ian Martin, Havenberg, maybe a Zirkzee coming on. If we're comfortably winning by that stage, I think Koeman will be brave enough to make 5 subs and give some people some minutes. Van der Ven would be a good one too. Is anyone you particularly want to see play, Abdul?
Zirkzee. I've never seen him playing with Oranje. I would love to see him playing for at least 15 minutes. Maybe he will do something impressive, and Koeman will think of him to play some important matches in the tournament.
What was realistic to happen, though, is that Memphis will start and Weghorst will come on later on.
Well, that's if the match is very tight, if you're leading by 1 goal or 2 goals, for example, and you don't want to concede any goals, then you might do that. But again, it's going to be a race between us and France because Poland is out already, and this is very tricky. They might play the best game in their life, and they might play a very bad game since it's their last appearance for the team in the tournament. So
yeah, what do you think will happen in that game? Do you think France will comfortably beat Poland, or do you think Poland might surprise us?
Well, seeing how Deschamps plays, I don't think he will play attacking football the way that France should be playing. He has been struggling against every team because of the way he plays. So very unlikely that the match will end, for example, 5-0 or 4-0. I don't think it will end like that. What do you think? Do you agree with me?
I think Poland are going to put in a good performance, but it's how long they can hold that out for. I would expect Mbappe doesn't start again because it's not a game France have to win. So it's worth resting him for when they really need him. But in terms of finishing top of the group, how does that work? Would the Netherlands simply have to score more against Austria?
Well, if we win 1-0 and France wins 1-0, then we will go through as first because we are leading by goal difference, by number of goals
scored, isn't it?
Scored. Yeah, exactly. Unless France score 1 goal extra, they will qualify instead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Abdul, thanks for doing the preview anyway. We've got one more thing to do, and that is to predict the Netherlands-Austria score. I'm going to start, and I'm going to go negative. I'm going to say it's going to be 1-1.
Oh,
that
1-1.
We'll either start well or finish well. I can't decide. And I just think Austria will get a goal. Despite our defence being quite solid, I just think Austria have a goal in them. If we can keep them out, I can see the game going in our favour. Perhaps winning 1-0, counter-attack is 2-0, and we're comfortable. We can bring on some subs. Everyone's happy. We come on the live show afterwards, and we're raving about how we're going to go far in the tournament. But I'm going to be realistic and say 1-1.
Well, I did not expect France to score against us in the previous match. I was guessing or maybe expecting 2-0 for Oranje, but it did not happen. We did not score, but we kept the clean sheet against France. I'm expecting a clean sheet this time too against Austria. I don't think they will score any goals against us. Our defense is getting better. I would say again 2-0 for Oranje. I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's been one of those two scores, but I don't know which one. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
both be wrong and Austria
But
will win like 4-3 or something.
if we win this time, I think Memphis is gonna score a goal.
Yeah, I agree. I think if we
Yeah,
win, Memphis is on that score sheet some way, isn't he?
yeah,
Even if it's a
yeah,
penalty. Okay,
yeah.
Abdul, thanks for that. And people watching, people listening, do give us a like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. We're still available as well, though, in SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts, so you can go and support us over there too. And drop us a comment down below what you think the score will be, your team predictions. It's been great having a big community of English-speaking Dutch football fans throughout this tournament so far. Please could you help us keep that up and keep supporting us, keep helping the algorithm and supporting us in whatever way you can. We'll see you next on the live stream after the Austria game. And I'm sure, should we go through, there'll be a preview too of the round of 16 game. I mean, there's a 99.98% chance that the Netherlands go through. So I think we can pretty much secure that, preview podcast for the last 16 game. We'll see you there as well after the live stream. All right,
Yes.
everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.